News Channel at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We start out with part 2 of our investigation of the potential danger that could be in your backyard.
According to state police, there are more than 15,000 facilities in Louisiana that store some type of hazardous materials, and more than 2,000 of those facilities are right here in Acadiana. Now, we started looking into this story after that explosion in West Texas, which leveled a small town and killed 15 people. 7 months later, the cause of the initial fire at the facility is still under investigation, but officials know it's ammonium nitrate, a fertilizer which ignited, causing that massive explosion. Now, in Acadiana, ammonium nitrate is stored at 7 facilities, 3 in Acadia Parish, 1 in St. Landry, and 3 in Iberia Parish. And tonight, we focus in on Iberia Parish, where the disaster in West Texas served as a wake-up call. Along this busy street in Iberia Parish, you'll find this fertilizer plant. It is the largest fertilizer plant in Acadiana, and within 3 miles of this facility, churches, schools, a hospital, and more than 5,000 households.
What happened, I come home from work and I told her
You can see that facility right from Glenn Taylor's backyard.
It's just the smell and constant irritation, just not a physical irritation, it's just a smell. And you never know they never proclaim what they dump, what they moving over there, what type of fluids or whatever.
But according to state police, this plant stores the main and secondary chemicals blamed for the West Texas explosion, ammonium nitrate and anhydrous ammonia. The facility was fined $2,000 in 2009 because it didn't file a risk management plan with the EPA, but they've since complied. The company denied us an interview. In fact, they hung up the phone.
What would they do if one of these tanks rupture? You're looking at a deluge of liquids coming this way, and you're looking at maybe 1,000 barrels of it.
It would be a worst-case scenario, but it is something Iberia Parish has seen before. June 2011, explosions rocked the multi-chem blending facility in Iberia Parish. No one was injured, in part officials say because of emergency preparedness.
We have been successful in protecting the community, but we always look for lessons learned after events like our multi-chem fire a couple of years ago.
Prescott Marshall is the Director of Emergency Management in Iberia Parish. He says although the parish has an emergency plan, the disaster in West Texas was an eye-opener.
And one of the things I learned was that our local emergency planning committee was not satisfying all of the EPA's requirements.
Specifically, the EPA requirement to hold formal local emergency planning committee meetings. Iberia Parish has not had any of those formal meetings in 4 years.
What I would tell you is that though we're effectively accomplishing all the public safety tasks we would be doing, we simply need to provide that local oversight that the EPA requires. But the database of hazardous materials is available to our first responders.
First responders like Iberia Parish Fire District Chief Guy Bonan.
You can get ready for a chemical, but when chemicals mix, it makes a difference.
Bonan says they are in constant communication with hazardous facilities in the parish, and in the event of a worst-case scenario, technology will play a big role.
Have within probably decent amount of driving time, a minute or two, know what the layout of the building is, and if there's hazardous materials inside, what's in there.
And as for that compliance issue with the EPA in Iberia Parish, Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Prescott Marshall wants to make it clear the parish does have an emergency management committee. But after our interview, he proposed making that committee the parish's local emergency planning committee to satisfy that EPA requirement. He hopes to have it up and running shortly after the new year. Meantime, tomorrow night for our final report, we take you inside a fertilizer plant in Acadiana and show you how the disaster in West Texas is causing changes within the industry.
Here's Rob's 20